You wake before the sun does. There's a silence, like the world is still deciding if it wants to begin. And in that fragile moment between night and dawn, you roll up your bedding and press your boots into the cold, dew-soaked grass. You're not the only one awake. A few others are stirring quietly in the half-light, brushing sleep from their eyes and strapping down what's left of their lives onto wagons that groan under the weight of hope. Today is the first day of the trail of the West, of whatever life is waiting beyond everything you've ever known. And yet, it doesn't feel like a beginning. It feels like an unraveling, like the thread of your old life has been snipped, and now you're being pulled west by a promise you can't quite name. The Oregon Trail wasn't a trail, not really. Not in the way roads are supposed to be. It was more like a memory, passed from voice to voice, map to map, mile to mile, 1,000 thin ruts in the grass and dust, carved by iron wheels and worn-out dreams. You didn't follow the trail. You followed the people ahead of you, and they followed the ones ahead of them. And all of you followed an idea. Not riches, not glory, just the thought that somewhere out there was land, untouched, unclaimed, unspoiled, a place to start over, a place to simply be. They told you it would take 5 months, 2,000 miles, but that's only if you survive. They didn't tell you about the hunger that gnaws between your ribs, or the river crossings that take more lives than the sickness, or the sounds the oxen make when they collapse, mid-step, from exhaustion. They didn't tell you how quickly you'd forget what soft feels like, how the ground becomes your bed and the sky your roof, and you never feel clean again. Not really. They didn't tell you that you'd bury friends, that you'd whisper goodbye into dirt, because there was no time to stop. It starts in Missouri, a little place that seems big when you arrive and suddenly small when you leave it behind. You pack your wagon with everything you think you need. Flour, salt pork, coffee, tools, blankets, and you forget the most important thing, space for mistakes. Because the trail does not forgive overconfidence. It chews it up and spits it out. And every extra pound in that wagon will come back to haunt you. The oxen, they're slow but steady. You grow to admire them and pity them. They pull without complaint. They trust that you know where you're going. But sometimes you don't. No one does. The first few days, there's still laughter. Children chase each other between the wagons. Mothers hum familiar songs as they cook by firelight. Fathers walk beside their families, tall with purpose. But as the miles stretch, the sounds change. Voices get quieter. The jokes dry up. The trail starts to steal things, slowly at first. A pan, a shoe, a wheel spoke. Then faster. A mule, a child, a breath. At night, when the fire crackles and the sky is littered with stars, you find yourself staring into the dark, wondering if the West is real, if this trail leads to anything more than dust and disappointment, if the price you'll pay in hunger, in pain, in grief, will be worth it. No one answers, because the trail doesn't talk. It only watches. The trail doesn't talk. It only watches. And every mile you travel, you feel its gaze grow heavier, like an ancient thing, judging whether you're worthy of the place you're chasing. Your hands develop blisters in places you didn't know had skin. Your lips crack, then split. The sun scorches everything it touches, but the nights freeze just to remind you who's in charge. And yet, you keep walking. Because it's not about strength anymore. It's about stubbornness, about waking up one more time than you want to. Some days blur into each other. You measure time by wagon wheels and river bends. The calendar loses meaning, replaced by moments like when we cross the Platte.